Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Bellator fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting some of the key fights for Bellator 257 Nemkov versus Davis 2. So without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the card that I'll be predicting. So in the first fight we have in the featherweight division, Pedro Carvalho, or Valho, I'm going to say Valo, versus Daniel Weichel. So you got a veteran in Weichel. You got a young up-and-comer in Carvalho, who he did get a title shot. So he's not just some fighter that just up-and-coming. He already made it to a title shot. You know, did a little bit of work and got to that title shot and got decimated, but made it. I think he's like 26 or younger or 27 or younger, so still young, nowhere near his prime yet, and a lot of room to grow and already a lot of good skills to look at, and got some flaws there as well. But so far, you liking what you see from him. Good size, good, cut a lot of weight. Might even cut more weight than McGregor did when he was at his weight class. Trained same gym, SBG in Ireland and stuff. Well, he's like 5'11" at 145. He's been taller, but he also got some size on him as well. So got some muscle on him as well in that 5'11". That's a pretty good size at 145. And he seems to tower over most of the people he fought. But over Weichel, he only have a 1-inch height advantage and like a 0.5 reach advantage. So not much height or reach advantage, but a significant youth advantage. I think he's like 10 years younger than Weichel, so that's a significant advantage. But I see this one right here is I think striking could be a bit of a match. But really I think Weichel's been in there with more guys, and he's been in there, through rounds. Like his last fight against Pitbull was a split decision. And before then he was hurting Pitbull in the first fight, then got knocked out. So that's one thing. You might say, oh, he got knocked out before, he got hurt before. But I think as far as I know, and especially that lengthy career, he's only been stopped via strikes one time, maybe three maximum. Definitely one time, especially as far as recent goes. And that was the Pitbull in a wild fight. And Pitbull hits like a truck. He's tiny but hit like a truck. So can't really counter out his chin or his heart. And the fight against Emmanuel Sanchez was a 5-round fight. I think in that second round he was hurt to the body, but still was able to tough it through and still, give a solid fight against Emmanuel Sanchez. So getting stopped, whether it be his chin or, getting stopped via a body shot or, just trying to stop him is like not the easiest thing to do. And what I think this one fight comes down to, I think Weichel's experience is going to be a big factor. And I think some situations are going to be a factor. I think Weichel's IQ is higher, fight IQ is higher. I think he has a more rounded skill set and he knows how to utilize it better. I think Pedro Carvalho, definitely more fluid on the feet, like younger, fresher, nice and nimble. Catch like little kicks to the body, like he likes to land. Decent jab, decent movement. He likes to try to do that little Conor McGregor thing or, the SBG thing where they try to take the center of the ring. But a lot of times he'd be too close with that. Like Conor McGregor will put his hand up, but he won't literally be hand to your face and close to you. He'd be or hand to hand close to you. He might be really at distance. Carvalho being this tall and this big, he'd be right in straight range. Like somebody could crack you with a straight right from that range. And it's not like he moves his head so phenomenal. He don't got a bad head move, but it's definitely not the best. It's average or a little bit above average at best. So he should not be that close to anyone, or really anyone should never be that close to anyone as close as he tried to close the range. Like you close the range, you might be at teep kick range, and then you might step in a little bit more to land the right hand or land it straight or whatever you want to call it, or whatever side you are on. But you want to be kind of at teep range, especially in MMA. You want to be at teep range. Like you could kick them in the land a little teeps to the body, get redden that belly button up a little bit, and then step in a little bit to land it straight, and then go back out of range and play with that range. You don't want to be like hand to hand close the whole time and be in that range to get punched at all times. Unless you get, I don't know, even when you got phenomenal reflex, that's kind of dumb to be in that range. But kind of really to get to the point where I can say a lot of stuff about this and just drag it on. But what I really saw in my issue with Carvalho is I've seen too many people be able to take his back. His takedown offense had looked poor at times against Sam Cecilia. I think Sam Cecilia took him down like 3 or 4 times. He gave his back up against another opponent he fought. And Sam Cecilia or the other guy he fought, they aren't terrible fighters at all. They're solid. They definitely are. I'm not even going to be one of the people that say nobody's in the world, not world class. They're world class fighters. They're some solid dudes. Both of them are solid dudes, but it's not people you should be giving your backup to if you're, especially when you compare Weichel, who I feel is a much more solid fighter than both those guys. Really, both those guys combined. Weichel's been up in a factor in this division in the upper echelon for, at least 5 years, if not more. So he's been around the game for a long time and been able to maintain that and give people tough outs and beat a lot of tough people as well. I think Weichel solid in jiu-jitsu. I think Carvalho's solid in jiu-jitsu, but I think Weichel's control is much better. positional awareness is much better. And like I said, Carvalho got taken down too many times. Seen him be able to get control a little bit, like stuff to be on the ground and give him a lot of control time. See him give his back. And against Weichel, a guy like Weichel, he's not gonna like allow you to escape these positions so easily as say those other guys before. Sam still, he might take your back, but you'll be able to turn around into his guard. But against Weichel, maybe you will be able to turn around and stuff, but he's gonna put you back in that position. It's not gonna be as easy. He's gonna land some ground and pound. He's gonna make you pay for giving up that position. And he's gonna look to put you back in a position. He's gonna put you back in a position. You give him that position once, he's gonna put you back in that position. He's a high fight IQ fighter, very talented in all the assets of MMA. And I feel like that's the biggest factor in this fight is gonna be experience. And I feel like Weichel's gonna put that experience on him, make the right decisions, and be able to land those short shots in the pocket, mixing takedowns, get control time, take his back, and really started dominating from that position. I don't think it's gonna be a watch fight. I think it's gonna be competitive. But I think Weichel's gonna make those smart decisions. That's gonna make this a clear fight for the judges to see, especially with the takedowns and the control time in there, landing the short shots, weathering the storm better, and finding his shots better, and picking his shots, picking his ranges better, and making the right decisions. And like I said, getting those takedowns, getting that control time, taking his back when he presents it, and taking full advantage. So in this one, and I think this goes to decision. I don't think it's a stoppage, but I think it's a decision victory for Weichel. So in this one, I have Daniel Weichel via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, Paul Daley versus Sabah Homasi. And I'll see this one right here. So we might get confused, or I don't know, not me. Y'all might get confused. I ain't confused. But some people might get confused and think that Sabah Homasi's wrestling and whatnot look better because he fought Curtis Millender, who has really a lot of times, if not most times, has horrendously, meteoritically terrible wrestling defense and grappling awareness at times. And really just fight awareness at times in general at the time. Like, Millender could look like a superstar at times, or look like a straight dud at times. And I feel in Homasi's fight, he just looked like a dud and made Homasi look better than he actually is. I'm not like Homasi don't have those skills, but it's definitely nothing to write home about as far as his wrestling. So if you're kind of concerned that maybe Homasi will come out and wrestle Paul Daley to a decision or something like that, and Paul Daley's wrestling it, I feel like Paul Daley really could out wrestle Homasi. That's the honest truth. I feel like Paul Daley has better wrestling than Homasi. Well, maybe I might be exaggerating, but I feel like he could definitely hold his own with Homasi. It might be to get a little advantage over him in wrestling, but I'm not thinking that's Paul Daley's game plan at all. And if Homasi's game plan, I just think it's not going to go out. It's not going to pan out the best for him. Whether it be striking, whether it be trying to clinch up or anything, I just think Paul Daley has his number. Will have his number. I'm not saying they fought before and Paul Daley beat him, but I feel Paul Daley will have his number in this one. I feel like he can address Homasi. Anything Homasi try to do in the grappling aspect of the game. On the feet, Paul Daley's faster, sharper, much cleaner striker, much heavier hitting striker. And just going to be open season him on the feet. And I think Paul Daley knocks him out in the first round. So in this one, I have Paul Daley via first round TKO. Now to our co-main event, we have in the light heavyweight division, Corey Anderson versus Divalet Yagshimuradov. And yeah, I almost had to pause. Well, I did pause that for a second. Like, I forgot the guy's name. His name's so hard. They even just shortened it on this page right. Like, yeah, I can't pronounce it. Let's just call him D Yagshimuradov, because we can't pronounce that name. That name can't even fit on the page. But yeah, that dude's name is very long and kind of hard to say. D Shavala. I mean, I'm gonna call him Yagshimuradov. I've already said it one time. So Corey Anderson versus Yagshimuradov. And how I see this one right here is it seems like why is Corey Anderson getting one of the easier opponents? Well, really, I'm gonna say he is the easiest opponent out of everybody in the bracket. And he might kind of come back here and knock Corey Anderson out here to prove me wrong. And like, yeah, I'm not the easiest person to win the tournament, but really, from what I'm saying, this is the easiest fight in the tournament, or perceivably the most easiest fight in the tournament. Why is Corey Anderson getting the lowest seed out of everybody else? I have no idea, but he is getting it. So Corey Anderson versus Yagshimuradov. And Muradov is not a bad fighter, but I'm just saying that's how good the tournament is right now. And how stellar you got with like two former champions and the current champion in this bracket. So this is a very tough tournament. That's all I'm saying. When I look at Yagshimuradov, I see a guy that likes to fight on the outside. It's not like he's some amazing karate style fighter either to be fight on the outside like he does. Well, maybe he is, but he's not an amazing one. If he was, he would embarrass a lot of these people much better. Like, he'll fight on the outside. He might throw one or two punches here and there. for whatever reason, like circle on the cage. It's not even a case of like him just playing with the range and then moving. It's like he'll literally just hug the cage and circle around on the cage, and then make do overhand or do a flurry, then wait for the opponent to overstep himself, and they'll shoot a takedown and control. And I'm not really seeing nothing super phenomenal from him in any aspect, whether it be wrestling, decent wrestling, nothing phenomenal. Striking, decent, nothing phenomenal. Fight IQ, decent, nothing phenomenal. That's all I see, a decent but nothing phenomenal fighter. And I think Corey Anderson has phenomenal pace. Decent, like I'm not saying good wrestling, nothing better than decent, good wrestling, phenomenal cardio, top-notch experience, and activity. He can get active out there. And against a guy like Yagshimuradov who's gonna play the outside game, I feel like Corey Anderson can take advantage of that, outland him. And when a wrestling battle, we got a guy that's darting around and hugging the cage, that's gonna make it easier for a guy like Corey Anderson to get takedowns on him, cut him off, get takedowns, maybe even just fake a punch so he could throw that telegraph overhand punch when he's circling and just duck under him, score a takedown and control him and probably pound him up. I just really think Corey Anderson is able to pressure him constantly through this fight, break him down, wear him down, take him down, beat on him. I actually think he stops him out there. I just think really the pace and pressure breaks Yagshimuradov, and Corey Anderson is able to get a third round TKO victory over him. So in this one, I have Corey Anderson via third round TKO. Now to our main event, we have in the light heavyweight division, Vadim Nemkov versus Phil Davis. So this is part of the tournament with like the opening round, or the first fight for everyone that's in the tournament. Yeah. Nemkov versus Davis 2. So I see this one right here. In the first fight, I predicted Davis to win. I think it was like a decision victory. I expected to be close, but I expected Phil Davis wrestling and, his awkwardness to be able to outland Nemkov by a little bit, score takedowns, and win a close decision. But in this case, in the actual case, Nemkov won. I think he won like the first 2 rounds, and Phil Davis was able to rally late. But it was a close fight nonetheless, and probably could have went to Phil Davis. But really, if the case of Phil Davis losing, it was just a little too late, or a little too much. I don't know, a little too much, a little too late, or whatever the case whatever the saying goes. But yeah, he's already able to get some takedowns, get some control late in the fight. But in the first 2 rounds, matter of fact, I think even outlanded Nemkov early. It was just that Nemkov landed with more power, or perceivably more power. So Nemkov power was favored over Phil Davis' volume, and Phil Davis able to get a takedown in the late and get control in that round, and won a clear round in the third. But the first 2 rounds went to Nemkov via this power over perceivable power over activity. But how's this one right here? I'm actually gonna lean to Phil Davis again in this one. I feel like people are leaning to Vadim Nemkov heavy because he beat Bader, and then it's MMA math. Bader beat Phil Davis twice, even though I felt Phil Davis won the second fight, but judges didn't see it that way, and judges didn't see this last fight that way either. And I see this fight going to decision again. I don't think Phil Davis is gonna stop him. I don't think Nemkov is gonna stop Davis. Davis has not been stopped in his career, and he fought some solid dudes, and been in there with some heavy hitters, been in there with Rumble, took some of Rumble's best shots, and never was like super rocked, or I never really even seen him really wobbled out there. So Phil Davis got a chin on him, and he's hard to land clean on because he's so awkward, especially with the threat of his wrestling. So, and he got cardio as well, so I don't really see him getting stopped anytime soon. And I don't think Nemkov is the guy that's going to stop him. So either way, I see this one going to a decision, and I think it'll be a similar case. I feel like now this is a 5-round fight and not a 3-round fight. So I feel Phil Davis is going to be able to, when he's getting that third round or even second round, or when he, be able to take his time and start to get into the fight and break Nemkov down. I definitely think Phil Davis can outwork Nemkov, and I think he definitely address everything Nemkov has to do on the feet. I definitely think he's better defensively than Bader. Definitely think he's harder to hit than Bader, more elusive than Bader. And I think he can put up a high volume. And maybe through the first round, like Nemkov's power is going to prevail and get him that round. Second round might be a similar case or be closer. But I think Phil Davis eventually able to start to find his success with the wrestling and start to get those control time. And I think he's able to outwork, outpace, and outlast Nemkov in this one, and really start to his cardio and his pace and his wrestling start to really come into effect in the later rounds. So like when the later rounds and the championship rounds. So if not that second or mid part second or even late part second, be able to carry from third, fourth, and fifth, and maybe have a close second round. So it may be a close round in that fourth or fifth round. But really, what I'm going to see is really the case is going to be that Phil Davis is going to be able to take the wheel, and his pace and pressure in wrestling activity is going to be able to wear down Nemkov and allow him to get a close decision victory over Nemkov, with Phil Davis winning those later rounds. Well, winning majority of those later rounds, and if not all of them, and maybe winning a close round in the earlier part of the fight. So in this fight, I have Phil Davis via decision. And that concludes my fight. And so that concludes my fight predictions for some of the key fights for Bellator 257, Nemkov versus Davis 2. And as always, thanks for watching.